How's it going, Critter Family? I hope you all are doing well. Today we are going over another video by Beckman. I believe this was recommended a while back. This is the title of his video, 2 dominant American Bulldogs make real progress. So he labels everything dominant, even though he's the only one that tries to be dominant, and his dog is a bully, so is he, and all that, blah, blah, blah. If you want to watch the original video before I go into covering it, then feel free. This is his video here. 2 dominant American Bulldogs make real progress. So go watch his video first, then you can come back and watch mine, because I will be breaking this up probably pretty frequently to respond to what he's saying and to show you what I'm seeing from the dog's point of view. So if you're ready, let's get started.
2 dogs in this video. This is the male and his sister, American Bulldogs. They are great with people. They are okay
That's pretty
with
good.
dogs.
He's pretty good on leash.
They're willful, they're stubborn, and they're dominant, and they're also
okay. So he says they're willful, they're stubborn, they're blah 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 blah. These are all labels that unless I really know the dog, I wouldn't necessarily call any dog stubborn. Everybody says they're stubborn. It's just because the owner or the human in the equation is just, you know, dumber than the dog, or they don't know, they don't respect the dog for being a dog. Now I do know many bully type breeds can be a little more forward going or act as bullies because it's how they're raised, and it's just kind of their personality is they have a very strong personality, and so a lot of people let them get away with that. I mean, this dog here is also a major bully, and he's not a bully breed, he's a Doberman. So it's about, you know, your home environment, you know, what is it, nature and nurture. So I'm not saying every bully breed is going to be like a bully, you know, but people like to say, you know, oh yeah, Shiba Inus are stubborn. No, they're not stubborn. They're very smart. I'm probably more stubborn than my Shiba was. You know, he's very smart. He was very smart, and he, you know, bless his soul, he's crossed the Rainbow Bridge, you know, a little over a year ago, but he knew and he demanded respect, and he knew what he wanted, and he knew what he deserved, and he got that. You know, he had my respect, all the respect for him, and he taught me to really show respect to other dogs. So anyway, that's just, you know, a difference in opinion between labeling dogs.
Out of control. Okay, you've seen these guys in other videos.
So I wouldn't let that happen.
Right now with Prince,
he's pawing the muzzle, which means he hasn't been properly conditioned to it. This is probably the first time he's wearing the muzzle.
Not terrible. He looks okay, but
I
he's
wouldn't have.
Worse.
Good dog, good boy. He sat down on his own. Looked like maybe he was going to give a shake off. He decided not to, but he sat down. I wouldn't have him with another dog if he was on leash, or I would have both dogs muzzled just for safety. You know, so everybody is on the same level. Or I would have both dogs leashed. I mean, yeah, he trusts his dog. I mean, even with Adonis, I would still, as much as I had trusted Adonis, you know, like I would still have both dogs on leash. And I used my Shiba to rehabilitate and work with a lot of other dogs like this that were, you know, reactive or aggressive or fearful or just didn't like other dogs. And so we used Adonis as a demo just to, you know, work at a distance to get the other dog comfortable seeing another dog that's not going to try and give him the stink eye or try to play with them or be, you know, a dog that's just neutral. Adonis didn't care about other dogs, so that worked out.
I'm going to have to become in charge of this whole
But I don't think this is helping, because he's practicing by allowing Prince to run back and forth. He is practicing more leash agitation, leash reactivity. He's practicing becoming agitated on the leash, which is, in my opinion, not what you want.
In a minute. I am the boss of this meeting. He's in a muzzle. Prince is
You're not the boss of anything, dude.
Look at Prince is trying to
play bow.
He's trying
lip lick. Prince gave a lip lick, so I'm sure they're holding eye contact.
Say, let's be friends. That's exactly what he's doing. He does not love Jax. I wouldn't love Jax. Look at Jax. Jax is too serious. Prince is trying to say, hey, dude, I don't want to fight.
Look, when, you know, hackles are kind of coming up, when I'm teaching a dog to be okay with other dogs, I don't care if they don't have to be friends with every dog. I just want them to be comfortable with another dog. I wouldn't expect them to necessarily put up with a dog running around loose around them, you know, but can we, you know, proof them for that? Sure. But is that going to be their everyday life? It shouldn't be, because then that's just, you know, unfair to this dog that he has to be leashed and tolerate every other, you know, loose dog who's, you know, that's just nonsense. You know, he doesn't have to tolerate absolute nonsense, but But I would like to teach the dog to just tolerate the presence of another dog. You don't have to be friends. If you make friends, great. If you don't, not a big deal.
Let's be friends. Jack's hair is up. He does not look terrible, but he doesn't look great. There has been no.
He may not know how to
him,
play
even though Prince is
like a
saying,
dog.
Let's be friends, and then he's going to get worse.
So as soon as he comes back, okay. But as soon as he comes back I thought he was going to hold on to him with the leash. But he actually let go of it. But, as soon as he comes back and puts pressure on the dog's neck and the leash, he could cause this dog to go into fight or flight and be more reactive if he had left him alone. Even that instance of taking off the leash can create more of that tension that can cause him to want to go after the other dog.
Good, right? So I'm like, okay, leash is off. That's fine.
So Beckman just had 2 unskippable ads. Great.
Now you're going to start to see him look a little worse. And the camera angle isn't always perfect where you can see his eyes. But do you see Prince walk by? Do you see
I see this dog staring him down.
Right,
he's
Prince
looking
isn't
away.
Just walking. Prince is intentionally looking away from him. And I'm noticing all this.
He's giving lip licks. He's irritated by the muzzle.
Associate
Nice wag.
Myself with Prince.
He doesn't need to be friends with your dog, dude. Get over it. You're putting your dog at risk as much as this guy at risk. He's doing a great job of being patient.
See it at the angle. He's staring directly at Prince, and he's not looking good. And so
that was totally unnecessary, aggressive, and abusive, and you're just an idiot. Don't do this to any other dog. The only reason he can do this is because it's Muzzle. If the dog were to bite him in the face, he would absolutely deserve it. And people are going to come at me and say, why are you being so aggressive? Well, because look at what he's doing to this dog. We can't give them a taste of their own medicine.
I am over this. This dog is not the boss of this place.
The dog wasn't doing anything to be boss of this place. He was minding his own damn business. Although he was looking at Chris, who was it? Although he was looking at Prince. He wasn't going after him. He was doing everything he could to hold himself back. I've seen bully type behavior from his dog, from Beckman's bully ass dog, from Beckman's dog, who is a huge bully, far more than I've seen from this dog. This dog was actually perfectly fine. Just because he didn't want to play with your dog, I mean, yeah, he was looking at him. There's a difference between staring, a hard stare, and just looking and watching. Paddington Bear said that Aunt Lucy told him to give someone a hard stare. That's a difference between just, I'm observing you. I'm chilling. I mean, he was pretty fine. So now he's going to make this dog hand shy and possibly a bite risk in the future. I mean, I would love to hear if anybody has ever sued this guy and how many have and how far it ever went. Because if not, if anybody ever did this to my dog, I would absolutely be irate.
Oh, Joel, dominance isn't a thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
No, dominance is a thing, but the way you're doing it is not the way it's actually done, because you're cornering this dog who has a muzzle on. It's like as if I put duct tape on your mouth and I handcuffed your hands, and then I just went over and grabbed you by the throat. This is not natural dominance. This is man-made, man-opinion, humankind definition of dominance. Dominance in the wild, which dogs don't necessarily exist in the wild. There's wild dogs, but they're not like, the actual wild canids where, dogs have been made to be more aggressive than, if there's a bone. And these 2 dogs, and Prince and Jax here, and there's one bone, one resource. And Prince goes over and growls and shows his teeth at Jax, and Jax goes over and nips Prince on the neck, and Prince runs away, and then Jax gets the bone. In that moment, Jax would be dominant. But if Prince comes over and, I don't know, sits on Jax's head and says, no, this is my bone, stands over him, then Jax says, okay, whatever, he drops the bone, he moves away. Prince gets the bone, Prince protects the bone. That's dominance in another sense. So it's back and forth, back and forth. It's not this school playground bully here who is actually taking every chance he can to abuse and overcorrect a defenseless animal who really cannot do anything for themselves, who could easily kill him if they wanted to, but they wouldn't because, I mean, I don't know, I'm sure 99% of dogs don't even have that in them to want to maul someone.
It's absolutely a thing. And anyone who thinks it's not a thing is out of their minds. And they are not
Well,
going to do...
you're also an idiot, so I don't believe anything you say anyway. Dominance is a thing, but this is not really being dominant. This is just you being abusive to an animal. This is not dominance. This is a man with a tiny penis who thinks that he owns the world and thinks that because he has opposable thumbs, he gets to do whatever the hell he wants to, and he gets away with it every day, and he is abusing an animal. That's what this is. Having a pissing contest with a dog.
Do well in the dog training industry as long as they keep thinking
And then he grabs his own dog by the collar, shoving this dog away.
I am
Doesn't
associating...
even need to do anything. He is an idiot. This is a good way to get yourself bitten. I wish this dog would take the muzzle off and see how he would handle it. I'm not saying that I wish the dog would bite him, but I know that this pansy-ass dude would not be doing any of this without the dog's muzzle on.
Myself with Prince to say, Jax, you don't run the show here.
The dog is not trying to run the show. He was actually being perfectly fine before. If he had a hard stare, first off, I wouldn't be forcing my dog to sit here this close to this dog, because if this dog doesn't care about my dog, that's fine. I would be using rewards. And I'd be careful if I had multiple dogs. I don't want to be tossing treats and causing a fight to break out. But I sure as hell am not putting my hands on any dog like this, especially not a dog just to assert myself and to make myself feel bigger. Again, he's having a pissing contest with a dog.
You don't run the show at my facility. You cannot look at my dog or any other dog like you own this place.
He wasn't.
I don't care. Now look at him doing...
God, look how rough he is with the muzzle.
Okay, we got to fade out. We faded off the leash. Now
no,
we're off.
The only reason he did what he did was because the dog had a muzzle on. I guarantee he would not try any of that without that muzzle on. So now he has a false sense of security, as he always does, because all humans do. When we take an animal, when we, take a powerful animal like a horse or a dog, we tie them up, we take away their defenses, and then we stand on top of the world like, I showed that dog who's boss. You wouldn't get anywhere near that way with Adonis. And I would never allow you to.
The muzzle?
The only bully here is Beckman. Even his dog is not being a bully now.
But I am still the boss of this. You guys have to be the boss. Now watch this right here.
Now,
this is not a...
I will say one thing. When there's a human involved with multiple animals, because if a fight breaks out, it's inevitably the human's fault, because we always do something. If a human is in the mix of a bunch of dogs and something breaks out, I'm not saying it's always the human's fault, but chances are something happened. That the human put these dogs in this situation. They put them in this area where they're cornered, where there's one resource and multiple dogs, where there's whatever it is. But the human should inevitably be in control. If I am watching over a bunch of animals, I have to be the one in control to keep everybody safe, to keep the peace. So I want to be aware that everybody's reading everybody else's cutoff signals. If someone isn't, say this dog were constantly going over to go sniff Prince, or Prince were constantly trying to play with him, I would walk Prince away and say, hey, he doesn't want to play, buddy. Let's not start a fight. I'll put you over with some other animals. I will intervene. Or if somebody was staring somebody down, I would say, hey, I would make a positive interrupter. Hey, blah, 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 whatever, walk between them, hey, come over here, redirect them, as positively as possible before I have to use the positive interrupter, if I have to clap my hands or whatnot, just to break up that tension, because you're kind of on a time-sensitive subject. Yes, I would have to be in charge of that, but you don't have to be in charge the way he is showing. He is giving very dangerous advice, and if anybody gets bitten, it's his fault.
Good thing from him. That was not a good look.
So he wanted to go sniff and maybe take advantage of it because you had Prince laying down. You had Prince vulnerable. See, if that fight had happened, it was the human's fault. That's what I mean by when a human gets involved with multiple animals and something breaks out, chances are it's the human's fault because you put these animals together. You were interacting with him, you create yourself as a resource, so he will either want to come and show dominance to him to get him to move for you as a resource, or he will go and try and say, hey, you know what? let me try to sniff and maybe, stand over top of you and assert myself that way in a non-aggressive way, just to say, hey, maybe I do like being boss, or I do like being higher than you, or whatever it is. Like if this dog naturally likes to be higher than other dogs, then that's this is not how you handle it.
Going this way, and I'm going to go grab him. Now
it's way too late. Don't go after his mouth like that. That is so stupid and dangerous, and you're not teaching this dog anything but to be hand shy. And I'm sure it's gonna bite at some point in the future. All dogs that go through this kind of training, I'm not going to say all dogs, but a lot of dogs, is what I meant to say, a lot of dogs that go through this training end up being retrained by someone like me who doesn't use these compulsive methods.
That is more worried about me than he is at looking at Prince. Your aggressive
stress.
dog, your dominant
that dog is
dog,
so
your reactive
stressed.
dog has to be more worried about you. Not worried that you're going to hurt them, but worried about you're going to grab them.
What do you call this, you Jack in the Box? They have to be more worried that you are going to hurt them. Not grab them. Hurt them. Because if you didn't hurt him, and we don't know if he helped or not, if you didn't hurt this dog, he wouldn't be afraid of you. And now he's on a power trip because he can grab this dog without the muzzle on because he did that preconditioning before.
Right there. More worried about you than are the other dogs. You guys need to get that
dog
concept.
Is absolutely terrified.
Is Jack looking at Prince?
Yeah, he's looking at him when you're looking away. When you're not looking at him, I know now he's in the corner of your eyesight, but when you were looking over here, he looks right at Prince. When you look at him, he looks away. He's not learning really anything, except for when humans are not around, I can keep doing what I'm doing. When humans are around, I'm going to act, dot my I's and cross my T's and mind my P's and Q's.
Look at Prince in the beginning of this video? No. He's doing complete lookaways, and it's not because of desensitization.
It's only because of you when you look at him, dummy.
Of that one grab I did that was no nonsense at the beginning.
No, it was because of the multiple grabs you did.
Now look at Jax. Is he going...
And look at Prince. Prince is like, dude, please don't do that to me. He's trying to be extra submissive around him.
Oh my god, I'm just going to stare at Prince. No, he's
going over probably because he wants to sniff him, but you didn't allow him to sniff earlier.
Completely being a softer dog.
No, he's a stressed dog. A highly stressed dog. So is your dog.
Right? Because I am involved.
Stress yawn.
Look at me. I'm not taking my eyes off him. Not because I think he's going to attack.
The dog is trying to get away from you. He probably wants out of this area, but he knows he's trapped.
Because if this guy looks at Prince...
This is entirely a power trip for Beckman. That's all it is.
And goes...
That's all it always
look
is.
Of like, what's up? I run this place. Then I'm going to say, no, I run this place.
Okay, I'm going to mute it because I'm just going to keep pausing and talking about what he's talking about. He's an idiot. We know he is. He's abusive. We know he is. He saw Prince running away and he wanted to follow because maybe Prince is creating a draw. We had a big cut there. What happened with the cut? He's forcing them to get along. And they just don't need to get along like that. He's going to cause a fight because he's so arrogant and full of himself. Prince is only there because he's forcing him to be there with his see? He moves away on his own. When Beckman doesn't have his mind power on him. So now he has a more submissive dog that this dog is playing with. Their hackles are up. He has too rough of a play style. You don't need to go grabbing them the Caesar Milan way, which Caesar Milan is just an abusive idiot too, which is why he is just as bad because he follows Caesar Milan. He thinks he's the greatest person of all time, and they're both idiots. So now he has a dog that has a different play style than Jack's. He was being too much. I would just go over and hold on to his collar. Or maybe leash him, separate both dogs. Hold on to both dogs, just like I do in classes. If we have puppies and one puppy is being too much for another puppy, I say, okay, we're all going to grab our puppies. Or older dogs. We also have older dogs in groups. Where I say, okay, everybody just get your dog. We're going to call them back. We're not going to get mad at them. It was just too much play. And they were communicating. And before it turns into something nasty... Because as predators, they can cause more damage than they mean to. We're going to break it up. You don't need to do any of this. The shy, nervous dog is trying to get away. He creates a trap point for these dogs. This Labrador is trying to get away. He looks like he's trying to play. Labrador is way over it. He might be trying to get out too. Labrador is, again, trying to avoid him. He's interested. He looks like he just wants to play and sniff. That's a good wag. I mean, he's just a big goof, and he probably doesn't know his own strength. And now he's trying to cut this dog off. You know, again, he looks like he wants to play, and this dog wants to get out. I would never force a dog to stay in there with another dog they're not comfortable with. Because you're going to create this dog, this little lab here, becoming more fearful or aggressive and reactive to other dogs in the future, or you're going to cause a fight between this dog and that dog. Because eventually a dog will say, I've had enough. Why do they have the water in the corner? That's a terrible place to put it. Because, oh lovely, now we have this dog that's already fearful of one, and then we're going to have two. Now I'm going to unmute it because at some point he grabs one dog and starts choking it to the point where it's gasping for air.
Together and the energy is different. It's hard to feel through the camera. They just checked in together, which makes them...
This dog was already not comfortable with him, and now you have two of them.
Even get weirder, and there's another check-in, and they get a little more hyped up. It's like a weird communication, and now one starts to get bad jacks, and then Gemma starts to go at her right there, and you see her run away. It was not good.
Now he's talking over the part where she makes the snorting noise. So I'm going to go back to the beginning so you can hear.
Hey!
Can't breathe.
And it could have been a tag team situation. And so I had to...
Don't worry about the sit. Stop being aggressive and abusive, you dummy. You caused this. It was your fault. You're the one who should be jerked around and popped around and forced to sit down when you're not comfortable, not the dogs. You were an idiot to set up the situation anyway. I don't know where on earth you thought that that was a good idea, but it was really, really dumb. And for someone who supposedly, you know, is as smart as you are for working at the SeaWorld and all this baloney, you should know.
I am over these two dogs.
Then don't work with them. Don't train with them. You should be when you have two dogs, you're training with three. You're training each one individually and then together. And when you have two dogs, they can get more excitable, especially if they're siblings. If you have one dog that's excited and they know another dog and they feed off of each other, and that's where the energy can get a lot. That other dog, the black lab, didn't like being with one of them, let alone two. So I could have seen that coming a mile away. I don't know how he didn't, or he's just ignorant and thinks that he can do whatever he wants.
Whatever they want to do. Staring down Prince. She's been with this dog, but not with him in the mix. And that was almost ready to be a pin. A pin, like she started to bite her neck. These two checked it.
That was entirely unnecessary. This man is so insecure. I mean, I know I made the comment before, but I swear it's, you know, he's trying to compensate for something.
Each other. You see them come nose to nose, and basically when they touch nose to nose right here when she came in, they basically like changed a little bit because they hadn't been with dogs together. They changed.
Super stressed out, stress panting. She's not too bad because she hasn't been pinned and abused like him.
It became where they're working together and the energy rose. So her friends with her.
I mean, the fact that he just tries to act like they're so conniving and evil and they're working together. They're feeding off of each other. Like any two animals might. Can and do.
Want them not caring. It's your friend. Another dog. That's when they do it. When their eyes are shifty and they're all tense. You want them more worried about you?
No, you don't.
Me?
You want them to trust you to keep them safe. You want every dog around you to trust you to keep them safe from each other. And you don't put them in the same room together if you think there's any chance, the slightest inkling that one of them could cause a fight with each other, which is always possible with any animal.
about what the hell is going on with these dogs.
He's painting
They
the
gotta
picture
be
to be
tamped
worse than
down
it is.
constantly.
These
They haven't
dogs were
met the-
totally
either of them haven't
fine.
met this dog. And
Avoidance.
this is what you want. You want them not caring. See your friend.
So you want them not caring, but you're forcing them to go sniff another dog that you're forcing and holding there to become shark bait. So that you can then correct them. Slave driver, master, slaves, all of them. Now they're just avoiding.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want her to go, can I meet the dog? Can I not? Sit.
That's really for the other dog to say. Just because the human says, hey, yeah, you can come meet my dog, that doesn't mean that your dog, that their dog has given consent, which another dog should be able to give consent by showing that they're excited and they want to say hello, and or they're not overly excited. And don't worry about the sit. I don't care about the sit. He's doing it again for false sense of control. Why was he so rough? He corrected her before he removed the collar.
Okay. When they're finally calm is when you can take them off a leash. But these two are not good when they're both running around.
Jeez Louise, why is he... Lord.
Leash in a frenzy state of mind. You can let him go. I'm going to work them both. I mean, we got trainers everywhere, but...
You've got idiots everywhere. Now, she's showing a little bit much excitement, and you're cornered. You have all these animals cornered here. I wouldn't have them cornered.
Leave it! She's not being bad. I'm just going to prove things.
No, she was showing a little more excitement than I would want, especially for a dog that's cornered, with her ears very forward, her head very high. You know, I know a Boston Terrier puppy that always has to have his head over another dog. Now, he gets into... he gets into a barking fit with everybody. You know, he goes after a big old Rottweiler, but it's louder than it actually. You know, his bark is worse than his bite. He hasn't tried anything, but you know, he gets all that that little guy complex. But funny enough, a dog smaller than him snapped at him and put him in his place. So go figure. We didn't want it to get to that, but eventually he drove it to that point, and the other dog, before I can stop it, just air snapped at him, and he said, whoa, okay, I got it. And he kind of left everybody else alone. So now she wants to play.
And
there was a cut there. There's a cut, and then there was another advertisement.
But I want to run around, and they have this weird
Why are you so aggressive?
Relationship where she keeps checking in with
him. Out
him.
of nowhere. Because she has a bond with him. And she trusts him. This is legal animal abuse. I don't know how else to say it. It's a good thing I have my little emotional support pickle here. Because without him, I wouldn't be able to keep doing it with these. And it says in his little sign, I will always be around to let you know that you are a big deal. Like dill pickle. Anyway, I'm just going to end this here. I can't keep going, but let me know what you think of this video. I know I'm really, really amped up, but, you know, it's just, it's good. I'd much rather get this out in the world and give these dogs a voice than, you know, and take a little bit of, you know, riling up and get my blood pressure up a little bit, you know, than not. So, I want to speak up for these animals and advocate for them, because clearly people like this won't. So let me know what you thought of this video. Hope you enjoyed it or got something from it. In the meantime, go say how to do to your little critters. Say how to do for me. Give them some kind of loving they appreciate. Until next time, practice peace, patience, and positivity.